Shalom. First and foremost, I'd like to give all praises and glory and honor to Yahweh Ba'ashem, Yahweh Shai Ba'ashem, Wakakadash. Double honors to the elders, apostles, of Great Millstone, preaching this word truthfully and sincerely. And shalom to the Akim, scattered through the four corners of the globe, preaching the word truthfully and sincerely. And shalom to the Akim, that be like unto the speckled bird, preaching the word truthfully and sincerely. And I'll say shalom to you Akim out there. And this is a quick sit-down lesson through the spirit, power, grace, and mercy of Yahweh Shai on this July the 27th, 2022 at 11:34 p.m. Central Standard Time on this Wednesday night. And this is a news article. This was recently. This is from usnews.com. And a highlight of this news article, and it reads, Kim Jong-un threatens to use nukes amid tensions with United States and South Korea. And it says North Korea leader Kim Jong-un has warned he's ready to use his nuclear weapons in potential military conflicts with the United States and South Korea. The Associated Press of Seoul, South Korea. North Korea leader Kim Jong-un warned he's ready to use his nuclear weapons in potential military conflicts with the United States and South Korea. State media said Thursday as he unleashes fiery rhetoric against rivals as he said are pushing the Korean peninsula to the brink of war. Kim Jong-un's speech to war veterans in the 69th anniversary of the end of the 1950 through 1953 Korean War would apparently meant to boost internal unity in the impoverished counties suffering pandemic-related economic issues. North Korea will likely intensify its threats against the United States and South Korea as the allies prepare to expand summertime exercise. The North views as the invasion rehearsal, some observers say. It says our armed forces are completely prepared to respond to any crisis. In our country, nuclear war deterrent is also ready to mobilize its absolute power, gracefully, exactly, and swiftly in accordance with its mission, Kim said in Wednesday's speech, according to the official Korean Central News agencies. He accused the United States of demonizing North Korea to justify its hostile policies. He said U.S. and South Korea military drill shows the U.S. double standards, a gangster-like aspect because of a brand new North Korea's routine military activities as an apparent reference to the missiles test as a provocation threat. Kim also called the new South Korean president Yoon Suk-yeol a confrontation maniac. Wow. Damn, Kim Jong-un definitely sending shots at South Korea and the United States. It says who's gone farther than the past South Korean leaders as said Yoon's conservative government was led by gangsters. He said since taking office in May, the UN government has moved to strengthen Seoul's military alliance with the United States and bolster its capability to neutralize North Korea. It says nuclear threats, including preemptive strike capabilities. It says talk about military actions against our nation, which poses absolute weapons that they fear the most is preposterous. and it's very dangerous. Suicidal action, Kim said. Such a danger attempt will be immediate punishment by our powerful strength, and the government and its military will be annihilated. This year, Kim has increasingly threatened its rivals with its advanced nuclear program, and what some foreign experts say it is an attempt to wrestle outside consensus and achieve great domestic unity. So yeah, these tensions are definitely stirring up more and more as Kim Jong-un is sending more warning shots to the United States and South Korea as well too, with nuclear capability. They said he's ready to use his nuclear capability. So yeah, Kim Jong-un definitely been living up to his word ever since he made that announcement on January 1st of 2022 about making it known that he's want to create his nuclear capability, the missile launch testings, and be prepared for anything of any threats that's come his way and towards his country, and South Korea and the United States and Japan, they are on that list, and they said he's ready to use military arsenal if South Korea and the United States want to get to that point. So Kim Jong-un is not playing, and along he got allies as well too, China, Russia, and Iran, So Kim Jong-un is not alone, because you got China. I mean, you got the not China. You got the United States, South Korea, and Japan. They all allies. To go against North Korea and potentially China, Russia, and Iran. But this one right here is focusing on, Kim Jong-un definitely, because I believe when I was reading the article, he was taking shots at the South Korean leader, said he's a complete maniac. They said, Kim Jong-un said during his speeches when the South Prime Minister of South Korea, he said he's way beyond past the other leaders that was in leadership of the role of South Korea. He said he's a conservative maniac, So yeah, hey man, it seemed like the relationship between the cross borders of North Korea and South Korea, it got more intensified now than ever, because now you got South Korea, its allies with Japan and the United States as well too. So that goes to show you the increase of the nations against nations and kingdom against kingdoms, as it's furthermore increasing now more than ever. Kim Jong-un ramped up his rhetoric talk, because this was a speech right here on Wednesday, even though it's supposed to be like a victory speech or something like that from the Korean War back in 1950 all the way into 1953, I believe. Either around that time, 1953 or 1950 or 1959, I believe. And, he was stating that, if South Korea and the United States and Japan want to send nuclear threats to them, North Korea said, we are ready and able to use any means necessary of military response towards the United States and South Korea and Japan combined, So these nations rising against nations, and these wars and rumors of wars definitely increasing now more than ever, And I'm gonna bring out a scripture about Wars and rumors of wars, once again, as it's increasing now more than ever, as I stated in my previous videos in reference to this, definitely increasing in the latter days. This is the book of Matthew, chapter 24, verse 6, and it reads, and ye shall hear of wars and rumors of wars. See that ye be not troubled, for all these things must come to pass, but the end is not yet. And I'm going to go to the next verse, Matthew 24 and 7. For nations shall rise against nations, and kingdom against kingdoms. 1144, called Yahweh. And I'm going to read it again for edification's sake. Matthew 24 and 7. In verse 7, in the book of Matthew, through the Holy Scriptures, and it reads, for nation shall rise against nations, and kingdom against kingdoms, and there shall be famines and pestilence and earthquakes in diverse places, right? Because you're seeing the increase, like I mentioned before, with the nations of different nations around the world, increasingly going against one another, especially with the military war type rhetoric. It's increasing on the economic scale, verbal scale, and it's going to get to a very physical war-like type scale as well too. And we're seeing it increasing as you see the tensions increase between tensions between North Korea and South Korea and the United States combined, and Kim Jong-un said he's going to do any means necessary if he's feel like he's under threat under his country and his citizens, if they feel like they under threat, if they feel like I cannot do nuclear missile launch tests, ICBM nuclear missile launch tests, hypersonic, the long range and short range missiles. If I feel like if I can't do that, and then South Korea and the United States sending warnings to me, I might have no choice but to send a clear message and a warning to the United States and South Korea combined as well too, along with Japan, and I'm gonna send a nuclear warning, and Kim Jong-un said he's ready to lose his nuclear capability if they come under military threat from South Korea and the United States, and potentially Japan as well too, because I believe it was like I say about like a month ago, probably like in the month of May or mid-May or end of May, when you had North Korea was firing their missile launch tests, and I believe it was like their 16th or 17th missile launch test of the year in the year 2022. And then the United States and South Korea, they kind of felt that as a threat. It was like, hey, we got a counter. We can counter that as well too. We can test our missile launches, our nuclear capability against you, And South Korea and Japan and the United States, they fire awesome rockets as well too. So, these tensions is gonna increase now more than ever. Because that's why I brought out the scriptures of Matthew 24 and 6 through verse 7, with the nations against nations and kingdom against kingdoms, increasing now more than ever, And I'm gonna bring out Luke 21 and 9. And this is the book of Luke, chapter 21, verse 9. But when ye shall hear of wars and commotions, be ye not terrified, for these things must come to pass, but the end is not yet end by. Right, because this is gonna continue, because I believe they, as I was reading through the article, I believe once not too long ago, when not North Korea, Slovakia, when South Korea and the United States, once they had that meeting about they was going to renew their summertime exercise drills in the sea, I believe. So, that goes to show you they're going to stir up more of those tensions with their nuclear capability, against North Korea. Because I believe under the UN deal or something like that, saying North Korea violated the nuclear rights or something like nuclear human rights or something like that. Because they said, because they are in the danger of using it in an atomic bomb or something like that. So, yeah. So expect to see these nations against nations and kingdom against kingdoms with this South Korea and United States versus North Korea, and North Korea with their potential allies as well too. So this is going to increase now more than ever. Now it's starting to get back its recognition back in the news again, because it had calmed down for a second. Because after I say about a month or two, you haven't heard no more from Kim Jong-un with his nuclear missile testings, the hypersonic missile testings, the long range and the short range, and the ICBMs testing as well too. So it kind of cooled down for like a month or two, and now you're starting to hear it back in the news again. Now you're starting to see the tensions between North Korea versus South Korea, potentially Japan, and the United States as well too. That military warlike rhetoric is increasing once again. That's what you call wars and rumors of wars. So these are wars and rumors of wars, as I brought it out in the book of Matthew 24:6 to verse 7. Is definitely increasing now more than ever, And then I brought out Luke 21:9. You're hearing a lot of increase of proxy wars, on and off wars, between the nations that have been adversaries for a while now, and the tensions are increasing now more than ever. That's why you see a lot of wars and commotions going on around the world, and it relates to war type tactic that's going on, So with that, I hope this was a good, edifying sit-down lesson through the spirit, power, grace, and mercy of Yahweh Yahushua. And first and foremost, I'd like to give all praises and glory and honor to Yahweh, Ba'ashem, Yahushua, Ba'ashem, Wakakadash. Double honors to the elders, apostles of Berry Millstone. Preach the word truthfully and sincerely. And shalom to the Akim, scattered through the four corners of the globe. Preach the word truthfully and sincerely. And shalom to the Akim, scattered through the four corners of the globe. Preaching the word truthfully and sincerely. That be like unto the speckled bird. Preaching the word truthfully and sincerely. And until next time, I will say shalom and a ball. And before I close out this lesson, so yeah, expect to see more of this tensions increase between North Korea versus South Korea and the United States, and potentially Japan as well too, as this wars and rumors of wars of this war type tactic of war rhetoric of rumors of wars is definitely increasing and heating up now more than ever in the latter days. So with that, I will say shalom and a ball.